till the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it if news anchors informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this report and ships important gifts. Of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? In a world where we have everybody scared to seek and speak truth, and every one of the truthers claim they're ready for all these truth revelations, and we live in the time of things being revealed, and what a great time to be alive. The information age, people are awakening from their slumber. The Creator's given us all kinds of truths that's been hidden from us, and we're seeing through all kinds of deceptions, but in the same breath, they seem to not be able to handle some of the truth. And in my opinion, if you can't handle some of these tough conversations regarding the scriptures or the etymology of them or the nature of where you live or anything like that, you're definitely not going to be able to handle some of the stuff that comes in the future. So basically, that's my general premise with the stream. I think that it needs to be discussed. I'll read the donations out at the end of the stream. So if you want to ensure your question gets answered, then you can ask it in like the form of a Cash App or a PayPal. But I usually am pretty good about interacting with the chat. This is going to be a pretty laid back interactive stream. But anyway, so if you have any questions or want to talk about anything specifically, hit me up in the chat. But basically what I'm starting to find is I'm getting a whole lot of kickback. Like, for example, when Jack and I start having these conversations where we dig into some of the scriptures and some of the things that people have never heard or looked into that seem to have been hidden, I have a whole lot of people coming at me sideways. For me, I consider that refinement. Like if anyone's been following my channel for a while or since the very beginning, I haven't cared to appease people. I don't care if I offend people. If what I say is too much for someone or too out of the box or too blunt or whatever, I encourage them to leave. I know that everyone has their own lane. I'm only going to reach a certain amount of people. They're at a certain place that are ready to hear some things. And of course, I don't know everything. And I think that's why some people that do like my channel like it, is because I'm transparently honest. And as I grow in knowledge or with revelation, I just share it with you guys. And that's what I like. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I feel led to do. So basically, to continue to grow, to seek out these revelations, and to be transparent about the growth so people can see it. And that's really all it comes down to. I just know that the time approaching, and I'm putting no time on that. I actually think it's not as rapid as some people insist, but it's going to be not for the faint of heart. You cannot be weak or intimidated or lacking courage
in the future, if you're planning on, frankly, surviving. And again, this is not like fear mongering. I'm not into that. Honestly, if the end coming has you in fear, that's a surefire sign that you need to get right with the Creator, right? Because I don't fear death. You shouldn't fear death. And so if you're fearful of death, if you're fearful of repercussions of the system coming and getting you, or you being on some type of list, or it's going to get really bad, and oh man, and we're all going to get hit with bombs, and you're just freaking out, living in fear, spiraling, as I would say, a gamma, right? Then you're going to really have issue when you're facing very tough decisions regarding starvation and basically coercion to introduce or to get you to agree to a contract to enter this new system. Whenever we're talking about the scriptures, right, it's not for everybody's. Now, I happen to know that some of the people that have critiqued the scriptures, modern Christianity and churchianity, certainly the English versions of these scriptures, they find out that they've been changed. They find out that they appear to have some contradictions, and they have honest critiques. Those people are actually much more courageous about this conversation because, well, they have less pride to deal with. They have less years of their life of defending a certain doctrine or whatever. It's much like when I'm debating someone with a PhD in astrophysics. It's very hard for them to concede that the second law of thermodynamics just completely falsifies and refutes their claim of space, and then any subsequent claim about going to that medium, because, well, they have a PhD in that. They have years and years of reputation at stake, of them being wrong at stake, them assuming a position of teacher and teaching people as if they have more knowledge, to have to walk that back and say that they were wrong. They'd rather die first. And I mean, literally, people would rather die first. This is how dangerous pride is. Someone would actually rather die. They will say, well, that makes a lot of sense, but I'm never going to voice that. I'm never going to admit that. I'll go down until I die with the public appearance that I remained in the same camp. This is the most dangerous thing that you can do. This is certainly walking in the flesh. This has nothing to do with the spirit. It's just weak. It's really what causes the downfall of societies, is a lack of strong men that are willing to seek and speak the truth unequivocally, even when they're proven wrong. They're willing to adapt accordingly. This is like one of the most detrimental things that you can never do. It's one of the most detrimental characteristics ever, and it stems from pride and ego. I give you the analogy of the earth. It comes with numerous things. If someone thinks that they study dinosaur fossils and you tell them dinosaurs is a hoax and nothing, existed billions of years ago, and no, our cars don't run off of dinosaur juice, and they're actually hiding big bones because there maybe even used to be bigger people, but these fairy tales, these pseudoscientific proposals of the dinosaurs and their exact makeup and how they claim the anatomy is this and that, and they just put replicas in the museum that isn't real. If someone studies that and learned all the fake dinosaur names and all the eras and all the pseudoscience, they just won't be able to admit it, right? Well, some people will, but most people won't. It's a lot like that with the scriptures. But look, here's the deal. I'm here to get the people that Yah is going to reach through me. I'm just like a relayer, and I just have to do my best to try to hold up my end of the bargain, right? And to try to be a good example and to be transparent and to be honest and humble and try to show you guys that I'm learning this stuff at the same time as you guys, if you're being open-minded and following along. I will reach some people that have a good knowledge of the scriptures, but they're humble. They realize that many things that they were taught younger isn't true about them, and then they'll start to maybe correct accordingly based on their convictions and the revelations that they have. I will reach a lot of the people that they associate the scriptures with this modern Christianity. They didn't know that there was a different version, if you want to call it that. And so many of these questions they've had and they consider to be home run questions all of a sudden are not. And they're like, wow, this is a lot deeper than I thought. Maybe I should re-examine. That happens way more than you guys would know. It's emails like that and messages like that that are the reason I know that I am supposed to be doing this. I am, in fact, doing the right thing. So all that just to get out of the way that I had to accept before this, that this would be a product of these discussions. I've thought I'm pretty tactical of a person, believe it or not. I'm not just out here just going crazy. I like to I'm pretty tactical. And I knew that the safe route, well, for one, would be to utilize my ability to speak, the aptitude I have in words, if you want to say that, to make a living, but I shouldn't, ever talk about any controversial subject. That's the easiest way. I threw that out the window. That means I have to lie, because I do believe in controversial subjects being spoken about. And oftentimes I find myself on the more controversial side. So that wasn't an option. I know that the earth is flat. So not talking about that's not an option. I'm discovering that we've been deceived with the Hebrew etymology of words, and the entire story seems to have a different undertone, and the names are grabbled, the actual stories are grabbled, the sequences are grabbled, the gospels are grabbled, the original version of even New Testament texts are grabbled. And I knew that to open this can of worms up would have some kickback. There is not anyone that's going to shy me away from doing this. So just to address the numerous different comments I've gotten as a whole, Jack and I don't necessarily agree 100% on everything. That isn't why I constantly talk to him. That's not why I kicked it with him for a couple weeks. That's not why I'm doing a weekly show with him. It is because when he says something that I haven't heard, he immediately shows me where to find it. He shows me where to go research it for myself to falsify or verify his claim. And he's willing to answer all the questions. He has nothing to hide. And when he doesn't know something, he says he doesn't know. And when I disagree with him and we talk back and forth, we get to the bottom of it together by researching it diligently all the way back. This is why I have mad respect for Jack. There is no one that's going to convince me otherwise. I've seen the fruits of his labor, right? I've seen how he lives his life, how he truly loves the Father, how he lives according to Torah, and how he's being humble in this process of learning things. So, for me, that's how I determine who I'm cool having these conversations with. I know Jack doesn't know everything. I know Austin doesn't know everything. And I know that no one in this chat knows everything when it comes to the scriptures. We've been detached from a lot of these truths that maybe back in the day were pretty well understood around the board, but now they certainly are not. It isn't about that. Iron sharpens iron. It's a process. Refinement, right, has to go through fire. And so we have discussions. I think that, yes, indeed, he is right whenever he says that Satan isn't some evil bad guy that floats around to get you. It means opposition. Yehovah refers to himself as opposition at one point, or Satan, because he's going to be in opposition. I will be in opposition to you. Get behind me, the opposition. Like the opposition tempted Yeshua. He saw the opposition fell. It doesn't have a personification. Now, I do look to the book of Enoch. I do think that there were, let's just say, powers or entities that have like stronger metaphysical capabilities than the average human in the fallen state. I think that what people call heaven is the unseen existences all around you. That makes perfect sense to me, and that there's just higher altitudes to it, and maybe you could call it layers. And then at the pinnacle of that, you have the Father, and it seems to be centralized on here, where these entities once in what we call the garden, and they could come in and out freely because they weren't in their fallen fleshly state. They were in the spirit state, more so, and they were able to come deceive the earth. Something to this effect is what happened. It does appear with all the sources that we have. So people run 0 to 100 like, oh, there's no paranormal activity. There's no metaphysical deception going on, anything like that. Like, no one's saying that. No one's saying that. What we're saying is your cookie cutter Christianity version of it. It comes from people that don't believe in it. The 1909 Scofield Bible comes from people that don't believe in Yeshua. So why did all the ministry schools absorb that interpretive Bible? They don't even believe in the Messiah. A lot of the stories are there to throw you off. A lot of the stories there are to misguide your manifesting capability so that you will actually manifest some more of these entities, right? So there you go. I mean, we have metaphysical capabilities, and I think they're misguiding them. They want nothing more than for you to be really, really scared of a bad guy and really believe it's real, and that every time you do something bad, it's because he did it to you, he deceived you, he has power over you, he can always see you, all this other nonsense. They want you to give more power to them, to their schemes, to their plans, to their idea of collective consciousness, of intellect and reason, that they are collectively Lucifer. They say this in their own literature, and they use the sun to represent that, being the ultimate symbolism of enlightenment or intellect and reason that is reached the pinnacle. And that's what the entire process is about when it comes to being Luciferian. They do worship Satan. That means the opposition to the Father. They worship in opposition to the Father. They think that they can supersede his power. They think that the whole trick is that the light's within you. You can reach a godlike state. And effectively, the Creator can do nothing to you at that point because you're as strong as Him. He doesn't want you to know this, so he maintained dominion over you. And so they're just the secret boys, the special boys that know all of the secrets. And behind closed doors, they get together, they build this enlightenment, and they reach this collective consciousness state of Luciferianism, which is the pinnacle of intellect and reason. So there you go. Of course, they want you to give them more power than they have. There's a lot of truth into what you say happens, what you believe happens, what you think happens. Your thoughts become reality. These aren't all just woo-woo thoughts that have nothing to do with the truth. Yeshua himself tells us this, and he walks up to the fig tree and he says, give me some figs or you will not bear fruit anymore. They go back the next day and there's no figs, and everyone's freaking out like, oh my gosh, look at this miracle, right? Or look at this, is amazing. And he's like, how long do I have to be with you guys? If you had the faith of a mustard seed, you could move that mountain and tell it to go into the sea. He's like, why don't you guys get it yet? You're still amazed that the fig tree didn't grow fruit? You can do this stuff, right? He's like, just look, I'm giving you an example of how you do it. And then we have a perfect intercessor that fulfilled the word on our behalf to, fulfill the part of the equation that is needed, which is atonement. So really, if you get the basics down and you're being humble, searching out for the truth, you're going to be good. The rest of this is a process of growth, and some people aren't ready for these big boy conversations. What it is. We're not going to get too much into all that stuff. I think we had enough of the spiraling as it goes. I'm not a name on D-Live's duality. Oh, my bad. I was surprised it even worked, to be honest. So, what's up, D-Live? I do forget about you guys sometimes. I'm sorry. Our whole world, our culture is Satan, opposed to Yah's will. Absolutely. It was designed that way. Let's see what here. Dude, okay, so I bristle whenever they are Catholics, just saying. Perfect segue into this, Tiger Bear. So we're just going to use that. Perfect segue into what I have pulled up to show you guys. Let's go ahead and call out the Catholics. A lot of people are scared to do this because they know someone that they think is cool or smart or wrote a couple books that's Catholic. We are going to slaughter all the sacred cows, and this is the head of them. So let's check it out. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my little disclaimer on here because you know how the gravelers are. All right, here we go. We'll actually also go 1, 2, 5.
Who changed the day? Was it God? No. Who changed the day? Was it God? No. Was it Jesus? People say Jesus is. No, he didn't. People say, well, it must have been the apostles. No, it wasn't the apostles. The Bible tells me, and my friend, this is as plain as the nose on your face. When I go through this great prophecy, and everybody agrees with every point, but when we get to this one, they say, oops. But oops won't do. The Antichrist changed the day. And my friend who is here today is going to come, and he's going to read, Mr. Vince Morton, he's going to come and read from the official writings of the, as they call it, the Holy Roman Catholic Church. Listen to this. These are the unadulterated statements from popes and other Roman Catholic leaders.
So we're going to listen to their own words. We're not going to listen to the people that frantically run around defending the Catholic Church, have a blind allegiance to it. We're not going to listen to the people running around in modern Christianity, not realizing that they're still under the dominion of the Catholic Church. We're not going to listen to what people have to say about it from the outside in a form of justification, because there's over, quote unquote, 1 billion. You can't verify the population either way. There's a lot of Catholics. They actually kiss his ring. They let him change everything, right? It's a huge deception. They say that if aliens come, he'll baptize them, that we're all worshiping the same creator, that there needs to be one religion of peace and love. And so we're going to talk about what they say. So we're going to listen to their own words explaining to you what they have done.
Our beloved Father, Pope Leo XIII, said, "We hold upon this earth the place of God Almighty." Our beloved Father, Pope Gregory VII, said, 1. That the Roman Church was founded by the alone. 2.
No, I shouldn't get in trouble for playing this, but to the grabblers, let's just read what this says, and I'll pause occasionally with commentary. But anyway, the educational purpose of this stream are protected under the Fair Use Act. So we are critiquing information and content for the use of educational purposes, because the world's under a great deception where people think the Catholic Church somehow has authority over them. In fact, they're blind to the fact that they still do because they adhere to their rules. So we're going to play this, and you guys can fall back with your stupid little strikes. No one cares. Get a girlfriend.
Our beloved father, Pope Gregory VII, said, 1. That the Roman Church was founded by the Lord alone. 2. That the Roman Pontiff alone is justly called universal. 3. That he alone can depose bishops or restore them.
Wow. Cool.
4. That all princes should kiss the feet of the Pope alone.
Wait, what? All princes should kiss the feet of the Pope alone. What a psychopath you have to be to even sit back and be like, I know a rule that I'll make up. Everyone has to kiss my feet. The amount of arrogance and self-worth and just the mere notion of that is wild. This is a guy we should look to as an example of how to interpret the scriptures, right?
5. That it is lawful for him to depose emperors. 6. That his sentence ought not to be reviewed by anyone, and he alone can review the decisions of all.
What did he just say, dude? Guys, listen to that again.
6. That his sentence ought not to be reviewed by anyone, and he alone can review the decisions of all.
That his decision ought not be reviewed by anyone, but that he can review the decisions of all. Yeah, this has nothing to do with the beast system. This is set up the infrastructure for the beast system, the ultimate rise of the son of perdition, the central figure at the forefront of this beast system, and it will be a lot like this. This is specifically engineered against the instructions.
7. That he ought to be judged by no one. 8. That the Roman Church never erred, nor will it, according to Scripture, ever err.
It's never been an error. Never. And never can it be. Interesting. This sounds a lot like the scriptures, huh, guys?
I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who can prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. The Bible says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The Catholic Church says, no, by my divine power, I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week. And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in a reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church.
Wow.
T. Enright, CSSR, in a lecture at Hartford, Kansas, February 18th, 1884.
Guys, we're going to just listen to it again because this is ridiculous. So yeah, if you're still following and adhering to the Sunday Sabbath, then you're under the dominion of the Catholic Church and their own assertion. Their own assessment is that you are under their dominion by actually choosing their divine authority of moving the Sabbath to the first day over the Creator's. You are under their umbrella. Lo and behold, the whole world has adhered to it. I live in a small town, Tennessee. They still shut things down on Sunday.
8. That the Roman Church never erred, nor will it, according to Scripture, ever err. I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who can prove to me from the Bible alone that I am bound to keep Sunday holy. There is no such law in the Bible. It is a law of the Holy Catholic Church alone. The Bible says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. The Catholic Church says, no, by my divine power, I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week. And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in a reverent obedience to the command of the Holy Catholic Church. T. Enright, CSSR, in a lecture at Hartford, Kansas, February 18th, 1884.
So just to make sure we all get it, they don't even hide it. They tell you, no, we changed it by our quote-unquote divine authority. There weren't days of the week like we have now based on pagan quote-unquote deities. You had the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, fifth day, sixth day, Shabbat, first day, second day, third day. But no, they moved the Sabbath over to the first day of the week, the direct inversion. And of course, I've told you guys, I think this is because any actual energy that manifests, it has to have reciprocation. Energy must reciprocate to exist, right? And so the inversion has power because it is the direct reciprocation of the energy. And so they do love to invert things for a metaphysical purpose. Metaphysical in the sense that you cannot, in this material world, bottle up energy. Moving on.
The Catholic Church, for over 1,000 years before the existence of a Protestant, by virtue of her divine mission, changed the day from Saturday to Sunday. The Catholic Mirror, September 23rd, 1893. Question: which is the Sabbath day? Answer: Saturday is the Sabbath day. Question: why do we observe Sunday instead of Saturday? Answer: we observe Sunday instead of Saturday because the Catholic Church in the Council of Laodicea, AD 336, transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Peter Geierman, The Convert's Catechism of Catholic Doctrine, 2nd edition, 1910, page 50. Question: have you any other way of proving that the Church has power to institute festivals of precept? Answer: had she not such power, she could not have done that in which all modern religionists agree with her. She could not have substituted the observance of Sunday, the first day of the week, for the observance of Saturday, the seventh day, a change for which there is no scriptural authority. Stephen Keenan, A Doctrinal Catechism, page 174. There is but one church on the face of the earth which has the power or claims power to make laws binding on the conscience, binding before God, binding under penalty of hellfire. For instance, the institution of Sunday. What right has any other church to keep this day? You answer by virtue of the third commandment. The papacy changed the fourth commandment and called it the third, which says, remember that thou keep holy the Sabbath day. But Sunday is not the Sabbath. Any schoolboy knows that Sunday is the first day of the week.
Yeah, but apparently people don't know that now. You know, any schoolboy knows that Sunday's the first day of the week. Sabbados, it means Sabbath. They tried to change the amount of days in a week to 4 and to 10, but they couldn't change the days of the week. It was too ingrained. They absorbed the 7-day week from the Hebrew people, added the pagan names to all of the different days, and they moved the Sabbath from the 7th to the 1st. And they're telling you that. And just to read this out loud while we're at it, the idea that Jesus was resurrected on Sunday, right? Yeshua resurrected on the Sabbath. The two Miriams went to the tomb before sunrise on the first day, and he was already gone. Moving on.
I have repeatedly offered $1,000 to anyone who will prove by the Bible alone that Sunday is the day we are bound to keep, and no one has called for the money. It was the Holy Catholic Church that changed the day of rest from Saturday, the seventh day, to Sunday, the first day of the week. T. Enright, CSSR, in a lecture delivered in 1893.
Thank you, Bishop.
So, wow, there you go, guys. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Let me get this stupid disclaimer over here. So, yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and slaughter Catholicism real fast. It is what it is. Many of you have heard me say it. It's effortless to do so. It just requires a little bit of honesty. Where it's going to get real touchy for some of the audiences, where I'm going to then extend that into modern Christianity and how it still applies. So, put your big boy pants on. You don't get sugar-coated prosperity gospel here. So Yeshua was talking to priests and said, call no man on this earth father. So they call priests father as a direct contradiction to this. The Shabbat or Sabbath is on the seventh day of the week for rest. So they directly inverted it, and they have their Sabbath by their divine authority on the first day of the week. Yeshua is the one true intercessor on behalf of you to the Father. Well, we'll just pray to Mary and to Joseph and to dead loved ones, or we'll pray and ask her, we'll ask her to pray on behalf of us. Because oftentimes Catholics say, we don't pray to Mary. We just ask her to pray on behalf of us. You're talking to a dead human. She can't hear you, bro. There's only one intercessor. Okay, you must actually, seek forgiveness from the Father, right? You must confess your sins to him. No, what you do is you go confess your sins to a creepy pedophile in some room, right? Some little creepy little box. You have to tell him all your dirty secrets, and now that they effectively have blackmail on you. You shouldn't dress as the effeminate. They love to wear dresses. They're obsessed with wearing their little dresses and pretending that they're special. We have pedophilia rampant in there. They say, it says, be fruitful, multiply. No, don't you dare have a wife. Don't you dare make children. We'll put you around a whole bunch of little boys. What could possibly go wrong? They literally hold Yeshua up while he's in the process of being crucified. They love to show off the fact that he went through pain and that they tortured him. And yeah, I say they because the Romans did it. The Romans are the ones that have changed all of these things in huge argument that it's a major part of the beast system. It obviously is. So the beast system, right, for intents and purposes, because this is direct opposition to the Father. We could talk about the Catholic Church forever. They have a giant snake behind where the Pope sits. They also have, and talks, and there's also a place, there's a little throne where it's got, or there's an area behind it where there's Jesus coming up with a bunch of demons around him. It's really creepy. It's just really weird. And they say this is when he came back out from under, from the underworld, when he basically said, it is done, which is super creepy. It's like very demonic. They have a giant angel that's come down, a huge statue of a giant angel that came down. They had the world's biggest observatory, i.e. a telescope. They named it Lucifer. It was an acronym. And then they got kickback for it, and they shortened it to Lucy because they couldn't fully get rid of it. So the Catholic Church is one of the most corrupt, if not the most corrupt establishments in the history of mankind. People started to catch up to it. They've been at it for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, murdering people for even owning the scriptures, reading it for their own, reading for themselves, absorbed it, tainted it, changed the names, got rid of the Hebrew versions of the Gospels, for example, made this Greek version of all of it, throwing in their twists on here, their personifications where they want to. And people rightfully so started to see through them. So now we have like Zionism kind of stepping in, and they kind of work together, and people think that they're somehow separate, but they're not. They're all in the same little club. They think they're special. They think they're collectively Lucifer. So now this psychopathic institution that is the Catholic Church, which has just flooded the world with indoctrination via the doctrine of men, claiming that they have divine authority to change, add to, and manipulate what the scriptures actually say. They have actually reached their umbrella out far beyond those that specifically claim to be or identify as Catholic. So they moved the Sabbath over to the first day by their own divine authority hundreds of years ago. Well, supposedly the story goes that there was a Protestant Reformation, meaning that many of the believers via a Reformation broke away from the Catholic Church because they saw that they were corrupt. And they wanted to worship the Creator in their own way. But of course, this is not what happened, because they kept the same compilation of books, only they took a few of them out to leave us with 66 of them. They still worship on Sunday. They still use the name that comes from the Romans to reference the Messiah, Jesus. And of course, we talked about Yeshua. The Talmudic interpretation of the shortened name Yeshua is, of course, may his name and remembrance be blotted out. The suffix was attributed to most male names back then, O-U-S, and it does track back to the idea of Zeus, because all the males were given a name with that suffix because of that reason, because that was their ultimate deity. And so if you go to a church and they still worship on Sunday and say that the Sabbath is Sunday, then they go back to their scriptures and they're going to try to find out where it says the Sabbath is Sunday. They will find it nowhere. And if they do diligent research, they will find out, well, in fact, it is the Catholic Church who says that they were given divine authority in some council of men to be able to change the Sabbath, and under their own words, and dare I say, they may be right. I hate to say it. If a building is still adhering to the Sunday Sabbath, they're under their dominion, meaning Is everyone in these, am I saying everyone that's in a modern church that worships on Sundays going to hell? Absolutely not. Everyone knows I'm not saying that. So before you get to going crazy in the chat, no one's saying that. Is everyone that's saying Jesus going to hell? No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that the opposition has infiltrated this modern Christian movement. And the church just seems to be under the illusion that via the Protestant Reformation and the breakup of all these different denominations, which has nothing to do with Scripture, nothing to do with Yeshua said, and he hated religion, that they have nothing to do with the Catholic Church. But they literally still use the same practices, the same compilation of scriptures, the same misinterpretations, mistranslations, difference in names as the Catholic Church. Okay, now, the Catholic Church has clearly blatantly told you that if aliens come, they'll baptize them, or maybe they'll baptize me. What are you talking about? All the religions are the same. What are you talking about? Everyone's worshiping the same creator. What are you talking about? These are antithetical to the scriptures. Now, most of us as truthers have seen through the Catholic Church. Some truthers, prominent ones, they don't really empty the chamber on the Catholic Church, but I don't know why. Not many truthers remain Catholic because they really just look into it and they find out that they're sun worshipers, that they're responsible for most of the bastardization of the scripts, that they've lied about everything. They've come in and taken major truths, anthropological evidence, archaeological evidence, historical documented evidence, right? And they've changed the actual translation. They've hid them in their little creepy chambers and underneath the Vatican in their basement. They have the Vatican Library, and that they keep this information for themselves. If you track back to the Romans, just according to, let's just say, mainstream history, even there you can find out that, well, in fact, they weren't great innovators as they're propped up to you when you're a child in like elementary school. You're told about the Romans were the first to do this, and the Greeks were so advanced here, and the Romans. They were not great innovators. They were rather great destroyers. You got the fire of Memphis, the 17-day fire of Memphis in Africa. You got the Library of Alexandria being burned down. Of course, now that's what the story is. It does appear that they just went and took everything that they wanted and then just burnt down the building so people would think they destroyed it. So then whenever they came up with some of these other truths themselves, they would be able to tout themselves as innovators. Because then that's where they hit you with the heliocentric model lie and claim that these same people that were way more advanced for their time, they found out that the earth was a ball too. And we've known it for thousands of years, which is patently false if anyone's researched it. But anyway, my point is to think that the Catholic Church and that the Roman influence has no influence on your day-to-day life is preposterous. It's a joke. If you're claiming to go to church on the Sabbath, but it's a Sunday, you're still listening to the Catholic Church. You have the Gregorian calendar, right, which comes from the Julian calendar. You have nothing but Roman influence on the very names of your months, the very names of your days of the week. Again, I told you guys that the Hebrew people didn't have names of the days of the week. They had day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, Shabbat. Now, they've named them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which in fact, Sunday being first, of course. They've named them after their deities. Now, to the naked eye, you can see 5 of the planets, which we know that the etymology of planet is wanderer. They're wandering lights. They appear to have what they call a retrograde motion. Enoch says there's a different layer of the rebellious lights. Now, whether or not that's true or not, that's somewhat speculation. But anyway, you can only see 5 to the naked eye. They deify these things. They give them deified names. And so then you add the sun and the moon onto those 5 to make up the 7. So this is where you get your names from. Now, oftentimes people say, what, you worship on Saturday, the Saturn day? No, that came long after that. Like Shabbat was there way before that. The 7-day week was there way before that. They tried to change it. They tried to change the 7-day week. They couldn't. They couldn't change it. So I was once looking into the lunar solar cycles and the different calendars and the Enochian calendar and where you keep up with it. And it changes every week, basically. And that is not where I found myself residing in the end, with my current knowledge. In fact, yes, Saturday is the Sabbath, El Sabbatos, right? Sabbath. And their trick was to change it. You should ask yourself logically, if they were able to manipulate the very quantification of the weeks themselves, the days within the weeks, why is it they had to change it from the 7th to the 1st? They weren't able to change the amount of days they tried. And so what they did was they changed the very day. And hundreds of years later, lo and behold, tons of people that claim to be Christians that broke away from the Roman Catholic Church, they still worship on Sunday. Half my town shuts down on Sunday. So basically, they're going to give this universal decree in this new universal religion. Let's just say international decree in this international religion, where that's your day of rest, party, live it up on Sunday. But they may even make it illegal to keep the Sabbath, right? Just like back in the day. And so we're going to see a cycle of this. So there's that. If you haven't been convicted about the Sunday thing, word to you, just pray about it. I'm not judging you. I'm letting you know. The Catholic Church doesn't even mince words. They tell you, no, we just did this. Did Yeshua say this? No. Some people say Yeshua changed it. No, he didn't. This is what the Catholic Church says. That some people say Yeshua changed it, but of course they call him Jesus. Some say that Jesus changed the Sabbath. But no, he didn't. We did that. Right? And so you got the Jesuit order. They call themselves the Secret Society of Jesus. The Secret Society of his name and remembrance being blotted out. You work in secret to try to blot out his name and his true remembrance forever. And then there's a whole different rabbit hole with the Peter thing. But the way I've always interpreted that is Peter was infamous for the denial of Christ. And so if they build their entire church upon the cornerstone or foundation of denying Christ, it would be a symbolic slap in the face of blasphemy that would go under most people's noses unnoticed. Every single part of the Catholic Church was intricately set up. This was guided by Roman pagan practices, polytheism, and there's really nothing new under the sun because their primary form of worship was sun worship, and they still do that. And that's what the elite still do. I told you guys that they look at the sun as the perfect symbolic embodiment of enlightenment, and that to be Lucifer is to reach your pinnacle of intellect and reason, and that they collectively are Lucifer. And that the Luciferian doctrine will be brought out. So do they worship Lucifer? Yes, they worship the collective version of themselves on a higher plane, if you will, a higher astral plane, being that they're stronger collectively than individually, and they basically worship the idea of this collective power. Are they able to manifest entities in this? I wouldn't be too surprised if they could. I think that the person always has to have some version of vulnerability or something that receives it. Right, so you have to open yourself up to this, and the Matrix tells you that when he's talking to Neo, and he's like, I can only show you the door, you're going to have to open it. He's like, what are you talking about? Then he walks to the door, he says, look, I can only show you the door. Neo opens the door, they're right there waiting on him. So when you experiment with psychedelics, you experiment with intentionally astral projecting, you're opening the door. And yeah, maybe things will be waiting there for you. Maybe you're tapping into a part of your subconscious interpretation that you haven't fully reined in. You don't have the responsibility to be there yet. And you're going to be manifesting things that are going to be evil or be negative, or people would call them demonic. Do I think demonic possession is real? Yeah, I do. Exactly what it is, that's whenever you have to be honest about it and get a little bit into it. I think I actually do kind of vibe with and resonate with Jack's explanation in that regard as well. Being that, like, if you have let's just say an addiction, say you're an alcoholic, and you're constantly trying to justify your alcoholism, and there's a reason you do it that's not your fault, and you're going to keep doing it. It isn't that bad. I don't get that drunk all the time, and you're just going to keep drinking, and you're worshiping it. It's constantly on your thoughts. It constantly controls your actions, and you want to hold on to that, and you manifest this evil within yourself, right? This need for alcoholism, and then the actions that come from it. Effectively, you've manifested a demonic possession within yourself that lies in opposition to the Creator. So the main point here is I think that they think they're slick because a lot of the New Agers are right about a lot of stuff. Like, the light is within you. You have a spirit within you. It's in a constant fight against the flesh. Your whole entire purpose is to overcome the flesh by walking in the spirit. That means that it is within you. When it says the kingdom is within you, well, it is. A piece of the Creator's in you. You're not the Creator. You're not equivalent to the Creator. You just have a little portion of him, right? So people can tap into this ultimate energy source because we're basically, let's just say, for a crude analogy, we're batteries, okay? And we can tap into the ultimate, source of energy. And we can utilize our source of energy because we're tapping into the Creator, the ultimate source of energy. But we could never claim to be as strong as the ultimate source of energy, even if a bunch of us get together and do little creepy rituals in the dark, playing dress up as grown men with stupid little secret handshakes like we're in elementary school, right? You're still not powerful, as powerful as this Creator. You're just drawing different portions of the power that all comes from the Creator. So that's a difference. The New Agers, quote unquote, will try to basically insinuate that they're God. I'm using the word God for intents and purposes. That's a Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. And so they'll say that they're God, right? Basically have a God complex, as we would call it. And that's nowhere close to the truth. You're blessed to have the power you are. You're blessed to have the spiritual capabilities and metaphysical capabilities that you have. It's just a portion of the Creator. And if you can persevere till the end, then you basically get to be one with existence. All existence, because Jehovah is everything that exists. He makes up everything that exists. He has created everything. Everything comes from him. And if you can get right with the Creator, then ultimately you gain life. Life being endless or infinite existence. You get to exist with the existence. And if you choose to be in opposition to that, you will cease to exist. You will no longer exist. There is no infinite supply of existence for you because you've actually chosen to be in opposition. The key there is chosen to be. And so that's, of course, why there'll be no sadness, because you won't even realize that your loved ones die, because they will have ceased to exist. They would have never existed. It's like if you blot something out, it literally isn't there anymore, right? So do you want to exist in perpetual happiness and joy in balance with the Creator and all existence, one with the ultimate existence, with infinite existence, or do you want to cease to exist? Something in knowledge of the fire, it's as if you just like say a piece of paper and you lit it and it burned really fast. Okay, like the fact that you get thrown in fire and you just get tormented forever, burning, feeling pain, nothing to do with what the scriptures actually say. And so we started to get a bigger picture here. Should you be able to sacrifice your flesh for maybe a full few decades here in this fallen state material vessel life so that you can have infinite existence? I would certainly say that's an easy decision. So the entire trick is to make sure you don't realize that. And one of the mainstream narratives that we've always heard, the sayings that we've all heard, it's in movies and all kinds of stuff, and I'll talk to you guys in the chat, then we're going to wrap it up, is the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing people he didn't exist. Or maybe the greatest trick the opposition ever played, whatever he says. So the greatest trick that the opposition ever did was convincing people that he did exist. You know, they love their inversion. This is in mainstream movies. Everyone's heard this saying. People that don't believe in the Creator at all, they say this. You know, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was, right? That he doesn't exist. The greatest trick ever pulled might have been that some bad guy does exist. Now, are there metaphysical, let's say, entities with much more power than us in the fallen state that we currently see all around us, and they deceive humans throughout history? I think so, for sure. But is there even maybe a chief of sorts? Maybe. It says the queen comes from the south. Maybe it's a female that they deify until she gives power over to the son of perdition. Mighty men of old and men of renown, right? Like these things might have been able to traverse through in and out of the middle, however that looks, where I was not allowed to verify it. And they came out and deceived. They kind of couldn't hold back. They're like, look at all this stuff going on around us, though, outside of the middle. Let's go deceive them. Let's go tell them some secrets. Let's be worshipped as gods ourselves. Let's take any woman we want to, etc. Let's set up camp and be basically revered as deities. These aren't like mutually exclusive. It's not like, oh, Satan isn't personified, therefore there's no beings at all whatsoever. I don't go that route. But I just know that I'm having the tough conversations. I'm having them transparently honest. A lot of people would say, don't talk about this yet, or maybe you shouldn't discuss this a little too much. This is for people that are in the know or are ready for it. And that might be the case, but if you don't have faith that I'm going to seek the truth out diligently and pray about it and want to find revelations and pray for discernment and wisdom and be honest with you guys, then, why do you even support this channel in the first place? If you think that just one guy can come and convince me to randomly believe in things that I have no proof for, evidence for, he hasn't done that at all. He's done the opposite. He's encouraged me to verify every single bit of it and to come to his own mind conclusion. So there's the long response to that and many other things. But we're going to keep looking into these things because it really starts to piece together a bigger picture. And if we want to understand the climax of the bigger story, we need to actually understand the story first. If we don't even actually understand the story and we're floated down with the doctrine of men and misinterpretations and mistranslations and assumptions that you have, which I find myself having often, with just hearing different depictions of what happened once in the scriptures, I just remember it based on what they told me, how they interpreted it for me, right? We have to break out of this. We have to break out of this so maybe we can, if we need to understand the story to understand the climax of the story, we need to start piecing together the actual story, for lack of a better word, because it's typically associated with something that isn't true. But anyway, there's my rant on that. Keep seeking. Yeah, always, bro. Nowhere does scripture say tithe is for buildings of churchianity. Yeah, exactly. You're supposed to tithe your money, set it aside for Moadim and for the less fortunate, like widows and orphans. You're supposed to have the responsibility of paying it forward, if you will, not giving it to a church so they can get new carpet. If you live long enough, you meet the adversary on the way. Question is, did you recognize him? That's an interesting comment, bro. The adversary, that's kind of what we're talking about. Hey, Austin, you're doing something really astounding out there. Be blessed. Thank you for the kind words. Much love, bro. Latter-day Saints, I should be back on tomorrow. My strike time is up tomorrow. I'm just saying, though. Go sub to my boy Latter-day Saints. Latter-day Saints. Flatter. Day Saints. He's hilarious. I guess he'll be back. He got struck. Welcome to the club, bro. Yeshua said, how long do I have to be with you? Calling fruit from fig tree and cursing when it didn't. Calm the store, etc. Faith in connection to Yah of a mustard seed, and you can do this and greater. Indeed. Shout out to Latter-day Saints. The chat loves you, bro. Big hugs, beautiful souls, munching crayons in the corner. Thank you for the crayons. I'm just going to act like I didn't read that. Would you be a Freemason if given the opportunity? Absolutely not, bro. I mean, they said that they can't recruit you, but I've been recruited more than once, and I would never. I do love to talk to them, though, and like call them out for all kinds of stuff. Typically, they're way, way out of the know. They don't know anything usually, bro, which is the whole trick. Like, you can read their own literature. It's a fraternity within a fraternity, and it's used to actually create the illusion that what everyone sees from the outside in the exoteric sense is the truth, but actually it's just to hide the inner circle. They write that in their own literature. Most people don't even go to the Masonic library once they're a Mason, though. They don't use the advantage that they have to the information. They just stumble through it, and they think that now they don't have to pay their speeding tickets. Worship the Most High, not the creation. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, Latter-day Night Live. There you go. Go check out Latter-day Night Live. I talked about that, dude. 321 Happy New Year, Austin. That's pretty interesting, right? That 322 number of skull and bones. They know that the year actually begins in the spring when life begins to grow, not December, the 10th month, but it's somehow that last month. It's the 12th month, even though Dece means 10, and it's in the middle of the winter. Like, they know that. God of Mars is actually, of course, the god of war. And that's where you get March from, because typically they would actually march in the spring, and that's when they start quantifying the year. And so it is interesting because when they say 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year, well, 3, 2, 1 would be the New Year or the New Year's Eve, right? That's on New Year's Eve. You say 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. Well, if they think that the New Year is 322, and then they're like 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year, then that would be 321 is the day right before the new year. Do I think it's possible that they have a Gnostic belief system for that? Yeah, for sure. Is that what I think it actually is? No, I think that the scriptures line out very specifically. You see the moon to know, and you need to keep it's observation based on the sky and the crops, not based on like the Gregorian calendar quantifying the cycle in the sky and being off with it, and then just attributing the same day to it every year. Because that just simply wouldn't work. You wouldn't see the moon every day on that year. The crops won't always be ready when you think they are. So there's my take on that. It's observation-based, which makes a lot of sense, right? The Creator's not trying to trick you. You don't need some piece of paper calendar to hang on your wall. You just look at the sky, man. It's just observation-based. Wherever you are, you can figure out where you are in the cycle for you and where Yehovah will come meet you in the Moadim or the appointments that people call feasts. Everything's right in front of you. They told you that you're a tiny speck of dust where everything came from nothing in an ever-expanding universe that defies physics, so that you wouldn't know that, well, no, actually, there's the center of everything. It's stationary, which means the sky is made for us, which means it's very important, and maybe there's some signs and wonders in there that we need to know about. And if we knew how to interpret the sky, what was really going on, and the cyclical nature of it, and how it outlines the Moadim, etc., we'd be much more powerful. People would know the little metaphysical trick the Creator gave us. The truth is that being on the Father's side, you have way more power than they ever will. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to frantically run around and do little psychopathic rituals. You don't have to constantly look over your back and then fight amongst one another. The truth is that you're on the winning side. You have to persevere till the end. Be strong. Be ready for persecution, because that will always happen. They'll revile you for his name's sake, and actually rejoice when that happens, for they did that to all the prophets before you. So you're not going to be like popular, but you're on the winning side. It's actually a comfortable position. I don't fear anything. I literally don't fear things. I don't fear death. It's not because of me. It's because I know for a fact the Creator's real. I know for a fact he's been guiding me through growth. He sat me down, got my attention. I got real with him. I was serious when I told him that if he would reveal himself to me, that I would live for him. And that's what I'm going to do. And now I'm growing through it. I mean, guys, it's simple. Divinity is simplicity, and humans have overcomplicated the simple. That's what the carnal mind does. The flesh is dumb. Just pray, bro. Don't think too hard about it. Just talk to Abba. Natural conversation, man. Yeah, I agree. Exactly. That's why the engineers to say, dear God. Like we're writing a letter, formally writing a letter. Like, just, Father, help me out with this. I got some people that won't stop spiraling in the chat. Please give me patience. I'm just kidding. I see everyone's pretty chill tonight, actually. Well said. Thanks. We'll do calendar next Shabbat stream. I'm down. Everybody prays differently. Yeah, just be honest though. Don't pray in vain repetitions. Stay legendary MVP. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, no doubt, man. Level means curved. Yeah, bro. You didn't know, man. I just want to know how WitsitGetsIt prays. That's how it is. I just talk to him like he's my father. I just have a genuine conversation. It's a personable conversation. There's no like, try to get out of your own head with, am I saying this right? I want it to be poetic or whatever. Just be sincere. Be sincere, and then actually you'll get to where you can like speak to him very fluently, because it's just you have to rip away the guards. There's no hiding anything, and so what you truly feel is what you truly say. You'll get to where it's like it literally comes out as you feel it and think it. But it's just about being sincere, having like a personal, like down-to-earth conversation with the Father. He just wants you to just stop putting up fronts. He wants you to stop using your carnal mind so much and your flesh so much, and just submit to him so he can help you and protect you and provide you and guide you. He's not like trying to control you. He's trying to free you, and he just wants you to be real with him, level with them. Tell him what you need too. Like, I need you to reveal yourself to me. Like, I truly, and you have to mean it. You have to mean everything you say. It has to be honest. That's the first key. You have to mean everything you say with 100% sincerity. I really want to know if you're real, if you're the real Creator. Please give me an undeniable sign. That's what I said. Please show me that you're real. If you're real, I will live for you. I will change accordingly. If you can't say that and mean it, then obviously don't say it. But I will change my life according to your will if you will reveal yourself to me. Seek it and you will find it. Just be honest. And tell him what you want, and don't sugarcoat it, because he knows what you want to say. He knows what you really want to say, and that's my advice. It's not too complicated. Men have complicated it, but like the sinner's prayer, that's nowhere in the scriptures. Men made that up. So yeah, like in whenever I first went there, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, am I about to go talk to the Cylian, But like I cleared all that nonsense out of my mind. I was sincere, and I feel like I did feel like he was trying to talk to me, bro. I did feel like he was trying to tell me something. I'm like, I feel like you're trying to tell me something. I don't know why I'm talking to you saying I feel like you, but like I feel like you're trying to tell me something. I feel like you're trying to tell me this. If this is the case, please give me an undeniable sign. And in my heart, I was sincere about wanting to know the truth, and I was going to change accordingly. And he did not waste any time. He started hitting me with signs the very next day, and it actually pinnacled with an undeniable sign of specificity. So that's my experience. That's my take. Just don't front. Fronting is the worst thing you can do. I'm going to check the... Yeah, that's how it is, brother. Yeah, for sure. Just be real. Just be real. So like all you globe zealots that watch my stream, like just be real. The earth doesn't defy physics. It's okay. Just be real. Like I was talking to some people today. It's like general relativity. Okay, you got special relativity 1905, general relativity 1915, built upon special relativity. Okay, they attribute a constant and finite speed to light. Right, as a response to the Michelson-Morley, where it did not show that the earth was spinning and revolving, and throughout the ether, clamp on to the heliocentric model and then propose that space and time bend and warp. Gravity is the effect of the bending and warping of space and time, while time dilates. Space, a conceptual abstraction of a privation, which is nothingness. It's just a concept of nothingness. It can't have a physical property. Bending and warping is physical properties. Time can't dilate, get bigger like your eyes when they dilate. No, time doesn't dilate. Time is a human construct, conceptual abstraction used to quantify passing based on the cycle of the sky. Space and time don't bend and warp. Anyway, I was talking to him about how, like, even just assuming that gravity is somehow right, the theory of relativity, it is wrong still. Like, they haven't even got a working model yet. But it's like people can't accept it. They want to fight you for it. And I'm like, you guys don't have eyes to see or ears to hear. Let the dead bury the dead, right? But just so you know that whenever, space and time, that's making a claim as to what occupies everything. They say that space and time bend and warp, that's all there is, nothing outside of that. Anything outside the perceivable material world, the only thing that there is space and time, and they bend and warp, causing a gravity well based on displacement of mass. Okay? Now, according to their mathematical constructs, they're off by 95%. They've had to acknowledge that they have a mathematical discrepancy of 95% of the occupancy, what occupies the space, in the universe. Okay, and they call this dark matter. Dark meaning we don't know, matter meaning the assumption that it is material. It's undefined. It's just a mathematical construct. It's a band-aid. They're off by 95%. 2021, general relativity is off by 95%. They're not even in the ballpark of having a viable model. So my point is, there are people that can't even address that honestly. They can't even acknowledge that that's what their priesthood on their side of the argument at highest levels of academia say. And so, or they'll say it's not a big deal. It's still pretty much proven. No, you haven't even got a viable postulation yet. It's off even mathematically. My point just being, like, some people they can't hear the truth, Thanks, bro. Love you. Thank you for the support. 777. I like that number, bro. Tony Steele, thank you very much for the support, bro. Much appreciated. I'm going to come read these chats, and then I'm going to get out of here. If you know what I'm saying. Thank my boy Michael Lyon, always supporting a brother. Thank you for the generous donation, homie. Keep doing his good work, brother. Absolutely, man. I love you, bro. You've been here since like day one, man. Much appreciated. You the best. Michael Lyon. All right, we're good on donations. I think. Yeah, we're good. So thank you for that, bro. And thank you for the super chat. What's up, bro? You're doing a great job at this. Thank you, man. You got a desire for the truth. That's enough for me. What's it? Sorry, I am a pagan. Love the mother as much as the father. God the Father has a mother half in my crayon notes twins. Yeah, I definitely don't vibe with the idea of the female Holy Spirit or some female deification or trying to box the creator into the idea of how we reproduce. And actually, if you look at the etymology of the words in Genesis, we reproduce differently. Before the fall, we were told to be fruitful and to increase. And then after the fall, as a form of punishment, if you want to call it that, or a consequent of the fall, we the female now had her conception increased and birth pangs increased. So increased means, there was something there. It increased. You don't increase nothing. So there you go. Pretty interesting, but no, yeah, they're just Jehovah. He's your father, and he loves you. And is he actually strictly limited to a gender like we have in our male anatomy? Biologically speaking, no. He's everything. And you worship not the creation, but the creator. But he is in everything, and he's inside of you. He loves you. So I'll end on that right there. In a world where no one knows what the world is. Dude, the creator loves you. He created you. He gave you a piece of him. You're made in his image. They're trying to hide it. He breathed life into you, right? Like, they're trying to make sure you stop breathing. This is an attack on the Torah. This has nothing to do with, they just want a new economy. That's just part of it. It's an attack on the creator. It's an attempt to ultimately be able to circumvent the creator because they think that if they get the compliance of the consciousness of everyone on the earth, they'll be more powerful collectively. And since they'll be in the higher level of the hierarchy of that, guiding it as Lucifers, then that they'll be effectively unstoppable and be able to overtake the creator. It is what it is. People can be psychopaths. That shows you how incredibly retarded the flesh is and how stupid of a trail you can actually go down. I get it, religion sucks. I get it that a lot of people make you just want to punch them in the face when they talk about religion. I know a lot of you guys don't like how I point out we need to get back to the Torah, but I do what he tells me to do. but it's just for your benefit. And once you try them out, you're going to be like, wow, I was being such a baby thinking that he was giving me all these rules, and now he just made my life better, more peaceful, more prosperous. And now I'm closer to him than I ever have been, and I'm growing. Now he's showing me things. He's finally showing me things. You're going to get excited about revelations and stuff. So just humble yourself. The humble will be, like those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those that exalt themselves will be humbled. We live in the time of things being revealed, major truth bombs left and right, and it requires humility. It requires us to get rid of the pride and ego. I encourage people to re-examine every single part of their life when it comes to what the world has engineered you to do. It's engineered you to conform to consensus, then just maybe you should do the opposite of that as a default. Don't just conform to consensus. That's what the B systems told you to do. To put all of your faith and importance into monetary gain or money, for the love of money is the root of all evil, right? And it clearly is nothing more than just like a means to an end. It's like a cycle. That's all money is. It's just a cycle that comes in and out. Stop running around having sex with everybody, dude. Like it's over. It's played out. We get it. It's stupid. It's lame. It's not even cool. It desensitizes you. There's a spiritual residue to when you have sex with someone. Pump the brakes, All-Star. You can try to call me a square or whatever you want, dude. I mean, I was on your side better than you. You know, like, it is stupid. It sucks. It desensitizes you. It has spiritual ramifications. Find a person that you can trust, that you truly love, that's willing to put Yehovah first, and know that it's Yehovah, Messiah, man, woman, child, and willing to live by the Torah, the instructions. Marry them and make babies. You don't need substances to be fulfilled in life. You don't have to smoke and drink and do all kinds of drugs. They actually lower your frequency, lower your vibration, and your ultimate power. The craziest trip I've ever had in my life was me fasting and praying to the Creator. Hands down, not even comparable in any way to any of the substances that people run around thinking makes them woke. So you have a power within you. Those quote-unquote Christians that tell you that doesn't exist anymore, that's not true. The Spirit still moves. The Spirit of Yah will put you on. There isn't some Holy Ghost different figure that pops up. It's not a different entity. And it's not real or in the scriptures anywhere. But the Spirit's real. He still will touch you. It happens to me at times so strongly I cannot move. In forms of confirmation, in forms of waves. It exemplifies itself. It's a beautiful experience. Creator's super real. Men suck. Don't listen to men. Religion sucks. Don't listen to what they say about it. Don't be ashamed to change it. Like Yahweh, man, that's not his name, bro. Okay? It's not his name. It's okay, but it goes back to Jupiter, or Jupiter worship. So as his name's not Yahweh, now I won't ever say Yahweh. It's not like I need to shut down my channel, or like, it's not a big deal. Like, we just learn things. First, howdy, Austin. What's up, Bob? Wow, fasting for how long? Dude, just after 2 days that happened to me. And it was insane. It was insane. And then I had like this conscious path of thought facing the idea of death, and had no fear. And once I consciously grasped the fact that I had no fear of death in that state, it just like 10x'd like the what we would call tripping, the metaphysical experience, the spiritual experience that I was having, where I could feel frequencies and vibrations. I was very intuitive. I could even see patterns around me. I could visually see patterns around me. So I got you in Arizona, bro. When you come here, I got you 100%. Awesome, bro. Thanks for the other super chat, Tony. And we'll definitely hit you up in Arizona, man. I'm going through all of that while we're here. I'll be here for a few days. I got some shipments. I got to get everything out of the house, everything ready to be moved, clean it all out. We're going to have the tour in segments mapped out. So we'll get this next part mapped out. We already have a general idea. We're going to probably head back east a little bit, pop up the coast, cut over before we get too far northeast, over to Niagara Falls, and keep going west. Washington, D.C. area, Philadelphia area, Niagara Falls, New Jersey area, because I think that's where Dave is. We'll see if he's busy, but stuff like that. And so just email me, witsit@protonmail.com. We'll set it up. I know a lot of you have. I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to get caught up on everything. And then I'll give you a certain number to hit up. So now we'll have like a tour phone number that you can hit up regarding the specifics of where you are, when you're available, what you want to do, if you have a place we can park or anything like that. We'll figure all that out. So a lot of good stuff coming. Stay tuned. I'm gonna get out of here though. All right, yeah. So Cool stuff, man. Love you guys. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So, I mean, why would you want to group with those people? It's okay. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. Let's grow together. Why don't we just, just help wake people up that are being like taken into this like, system of depravity where they're going to rip it away from you, burn it to the ground, and then rise from the ashes. And you cannot fall for what rises from the ashes. That is the great deception. It will look good. It will promise peace and prosperity, and then will come instant destruction. So I think everyone needs to really just focus on that. Let's be mentally, physically, and spiritually equipped for the times that we are in, even if it's 10 years down the road, 2050, whatever it is. We need to start getting right. We need to start, imparting this wisdom on the younger generations because we inherited lies from our father. It's time that we become a generation that woke up in the end and we pivoted, turned around. There was a remnants of us that was like, no, we're not going to have it anymore. I want to know what his real name is. I don't care what my parents told me his name is. I want to really live for him. I don't care how stupid religion is on this world stage because it is stupid. I want to know the truth. If there's a real creator, I want to know him. Let's be the people that actually get to these truths. I want to know where I really live. I want to know what really happened on that infamous day of this domestic attack of planes hitting buildings and then passports popping out of fire unscathed. I want to really know what's up with the world that I live in. I want to really know how this economic system works. I want to really know what the true value is. I want to really know what they're attacking the most so we can stand for the Torah and the instructions. That's what it is. It's an attack on it. Be fruitful, multiply. No, change gender. Don't have any children. Let's make everyone sterile. Let's just inject you. Blah, blah, blah. Damn, I should have even said that. Let's inject you with all these frequencies via the television where they just condition and program you, and that's why you watch TV programs. Anyway, I'm going to get you over on the flip side before we get this thing deleted. I want to know, Austin, most people don't care to know. Well, there you go, bro. That's all it is. If you truly want to know, then you're going to be good. Peace out, Austin, and take off them grounding inhibitors, homie. I've been barefoot all day, but I do occasionally wear some grounding inhibitors, bro. All right. Anyway, yeah. I love you guys. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. And then I'll have like a subject-specific stream and have some stuff set up for you guys. Because we finally got back to Wi-Fi. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, though. Got to move a bunch of stuff. I think we may have a Globebuster show tomorrow. I'm not positive about that. I'll keep everyone updated on my social media best I can. We're going to get the tour updated with the dates and the locations in the next few days now that we're here and settled. And we're going to get the website updated, all of that stuff. If you want to support the tour, masqueradetour.com, MASKERAID tour.com. Also has a contact and donate button on there. And then if you want to donate on PayPal, it's witsit@protonmail.com, WITSIT at protonmail.com. And of course, that's also the contact information that you can hit up if you want to talk about the tour or location on the way that you would like to become one of the stops. And we're going to set up a lot of meetups as well, give you some couple weeks in advance so we can all get together and do what they don't want us to do, which is to have human interaction and bond with one another and fellowship. And then if you want to support on Cash App, it's $WitsitGetsIt. So there you go. It's been real. It's been cool. It's been real cool. See you on the flip side like a coin toss. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. Seriously, it's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the faint of heart for some of these truth revelations that are uncomfortable, for re-examining your worldview where it comes to the very nature of where you live, your cosmological worldview, what you hold to be true. Any type of new age revelation that you've had, it may be true, but not completely right. You may not really know everything. It's okay, but it's not for the faint of heart. It requires courage. That's when it comes to standing up into the face of ostracism. That comes whenever actually challenging your own stipulations or predispositions, your own worldview. That requires courage, especially when you've gone out on a limb and you've spoken about it a lot. You need to be bold as a lion. Like, have the courage to look into these things. Have the balls to, the courage to accept truth for what it is, because some of these truths are going to become uncomfortable. In my opinion, they're going to be some things that are incredibly big relative to even the nature of the earth coming out, which is hard to grasp. But I just think it's time that we realize that we look deep in our side of self and like, are we scared? Because fear is what they feed off of. They love for you to be fearful. And whatever you're fearful of, right, you need to step back and think, well, why is that the case? Because if you're right with the Father, there's nothing to fear. There really is nothing to fear. I really want that personal experience for you so you'll know, like, oh, wow, I literally don't have anything to fear. So I'll stop preaching to you guys, but that's what it comes down to. It's not for the faint of heart, and we're already seeing that it's not for the faint of heart, and they're starting to drop like flies, right? It's time that we strengthen our armor so that we don't end up falling in the same camp as them, even though oftentimes we think as truthers it never could happen. The deception will be so great if we're possible, and the very elect will be deceived. So I'm going to catch up with y'all later. I'll play the outro and wait for it. Yeah, not sure where the stream will be out tomorrow, but we'll figure it out. Peace out.
Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sipping pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature that mean extorted it. They forging it. If news ain't good informants who informing them, there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we port in ships important. Yes, of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they sip with pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?